afternoon, everyone. Come on, good afternoon. A little bit of enthusiasm goes a long way, huh? Okay, so what I always like to do is start off with how many you've ever heard of me before. Great. How many you've never heard of me before? Good. How many of you don't care one way or the other? So you heard Don give you a little bit of the introduction here, so I'll go a little bit further with you. He is correct. I just recently authored a book, and it's called Dream Big, I Dare You. Better yet, I Double Dare You. And a little bit of a preview of this is Don is being very, very gracious, and at the end of the day, when we finish today, he's going to go ahead and give you a free copy, and of course, it'll break my heart if you let me personally autograph it for you. And so I'll have these for you. And one of the most interesting things about it is when you think about our big dreams, and I was very excited about it when it occurred, because in speaking with a publisher, generally what they do, so you have an idea about this, is they see how domestic sales go, and then they start releasing it worldwide into foreign markets. But the publisher was so taken with the book that he decided to go out worldwide right from the get-go. And then I annoyed him even more by saying there's 5 books behind that, and he goes, I want to do all of them for you. It's very interesting. Don told you a little bit about this. Yes, it's on Amazon. Okay, that's cool, but it's going to be in Barnes & Noble, Walmart. It's distributed pre-order-wise right now into foreign markets. The United Kingdom, Australia, in German, in French, in Spanish, in Japanese, and for another, it's just it's all over the place. But it's kind of cool. So you have an outline in front of you there, and this is for your own take-home value, of course, and when I do these types of events, I like to have people write down notes, because if you're anything like me, I'm sure many times you leave an event and about 10 minutes later you're raving about it to someone and they go, what's his name? And you go, I don't remember. So my name is Roger Palmieri, and if you like what I have to say, that's my name. If you don't like what I have to say, my name is Don Jessup. So, yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit about a strategic mindset business planning clinic. This is going to be the first of many that we'll be doing here on a monthly basis. So number one is that I'm very big about talking about passion and purpose and prosperity and power. So I'm going to take you through this outline, and it says, number one, the lifestyle entrepreneur mindset. Okay, so when we talk about mindset, it's kind of an interesting thing. What we know is the following, that everybody gets into a sales career for 3 major reasons. 1, unlimited income potential. Yes or yes? Mm-hmm. Yes or yes? Yes. Okay. Secondly, you essentially want to be your own boss, yes. Right? And thirdly, you want to manage your own time. Yes. Okay. Those are the 3 distinct reasons you chose sales as a career. Now, if sales was so easy, everybody would be at the top of their game, wouldn't they? Yes. Yeah. So what we have discovered is there's a conditioning aspect that allows people to succeed, allows them to be mediocre, and many people just to simply fail. Is it a lack of product knowledge? No. Is it a lack of focus? Yes. And so what we talk about, I'm going to say, I say a very, very dirty word. It's called self-discipline. And people go, oh, God, I loved what you had to say up till now, and then you said that, and oh, well. What we do know is this. The more discipline we bring toward our life, the better we will perform. So I'm going to talk about this process of discipline, of change, why we don't change, how can we change, what does it take, what's the big dream. And if you think about a dream for a second, think about it this way. It is a preview of your coming attractions. Huh. And so Kara went, well, that's it. Because everybody in this room has a big dream. Yes or yes? Here we go with the enthusiasm, rather underwhelming so far. Yes. Do you have a big dream? Yeah. Yeah, there we go. So what we want to do is take a look into that big dream, and how are we going to get there? What does it take to do it? Okay? So the first thing we talk about is the lifestyle entrepreneur mindset. It revolves around passion. And the most commonly asked question I am asked all the time is, how do I find my passion? How do I find my passion? And the answer, what I want you to write down for yourself, inventory your talents. Inventory your talents. And everybody sitting here this afternoon has a boatload of talent. But you keep telling yourself that you don't. And I know that you do. And before we go any further, if you got one of these things, would you turn it down to vibrate or something, just so that it doesn't go off and bother the person sitting next to you? All right. So we say inventory your talent. So if I were to ask you, what's your best talent that you have? Write it down. What's the very best talent that you have? And Carol, what did you write down?
Talking to other people.
Talking to other people. And I don't know everybody's name here, so we'll make it around. You are?
Kitty.
Kitty. Very best talent.
Caring about people.
Caring about people. Sam?
Persuasive speaking.
Persuasive speaking. Sir?
Ability to make people feel important.
Yes.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. Now, you know how important that one is?
Right at the top.
Right at the top. I want to tell you something that will take you from where you are to where you want to go. Every person you come into contact with, every person, a client, a suspect, I don't care if you're out having lunch, dinner, whatever it is, imagine that they're all wearing a sign around their neck that is blinking, "Make me feel important." Make me feel important. Because guess what? The moment people feel important, what happens? A rapport is built, isn't it? And once you build a rapport, people start to talk with you. They'll talk with you. And one of the things that goes along with making people important is do this. Smile. Smile. It's universal. It is universal. And when you smile, what does somebody do back? They smile. You know, how can you do that?
I just realized this one recently, though. I always had it in me,
Yeah?
but I realized that I also have the opposite effect as well sometimes. And I noticed it when I'm around people, if I'm in a hurry, if I had something, that wasn't going so well that day, I found myself just being in a hurry to kind of get away or go, and I just, I wasn't giving that person the time to make them feel like they truly were important at that time, and you have to be able to kind of reach back and be able to do that with everybody.
Yes. And number one, congratulations on noticing that about yourself, and what everybody wants to notice about that, what he just said. First name again?
It's Eric.
Eric, is this. It's awareness. The more aware you are about what you do, the more repeatable it becomes. And when you think about sales for a second, it's really nothing other than a communications business. That's all it is, right? It's just a communications business. And when you think about awareness, the more aware you are, the more it becomes repeatable. If you're unaware of it, the more you stumble, right? So what we want to recognize is, let's take a look at the passion. Everybody has a great amount of passion. They really, really do. But you kind of talk yourself out of it many times. You find other things to do and distractions and things of that nature that take you away from what you really want to do. So if you think about what I just said and shared with you the idea, okay, yes, I want to have an unlimited income, but this is the way I equate unlimited income. Lifestyle. Lifestyle. What type of lifestyle do you want? I don't mean the status quo lifestyle, because everybody sitting here has said, I would like to, and then fill in the blank, huh? When I get the money, I will fill in the blank. Now, are you about sick and tired of being sick and tired of saying that? Because the truth is, it's not a value judgment for any of us. It doesn't make any difference to me if you want to live in a 200 square foot home or a 20,000 square foot home. It doesn't matter to me if you want to drive the red Pinto or the red Ferrari. Doesn't matter to me when you got an airplane if you want to turn right and go to coach or go into the left and sit in first class. But if anybody's ever had those experiences that I'm just talking about, eating at a 5-star restaurant, staying at a 5-star hotel, kind of cool, isn't it? Kind of cool, isn't it? And it's not to be a special occasion. You know, some people actually live that way. Did you know that? They actually live that way. And I think whatever it is that we want in our life, we should go and do everything we can to produce it that way. You want your children to go to the best colleges, the best schools, whatever the case may be, we have to do something about it in order to bring it and manifest it the way we want. So your passion, somebody tell me what you wrote down, what your number one passion is. Otherwise, I have to call on people. Yeah, what's your number one passion?
I want do something I like. Don't basically I want to walk by myself.
Okay.
Work by yourself? Work or walk? So you want to be your own boss?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to be your own boss. Okay, okay. A lot of people want that. A lot of people want that. That's one of the reasons you got into this business. You got to do that. And it doesn't matter whether it's real estate or you're selling insurance or you're a financial planner or you're selling an MLM product. It doesn't matter what it is. People love the idea of having and being their own boss. But you have to remember what comes along with that. You ready for this one? Accountability. See? So when I do my trainings and people get involved in my trainings, number one thing I go is that first thing is accountability. And I said every day you send me your AMA list. Now AMA means amazing money making activities. See? You think about that for a second. What's your amazing money making activities every day? And then what I do is I have what I call the by-noon effect of non-negotiable disciplines. So you go, wow, this isn't exactly what I expected. Well, that's good, because your expectation is simply this. In order to get to where you want to go, one thing has to shift, and that one thing is how you think and feel about what you do. How you think and feel about what you do. So that takes me into number 2, purpose. Your purpose is in your secret fantasies. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. This is not a Victoria's Secrets commercial. See, when you think your purpose is in your secret fantasies, which is, oh yeah, what do I mean by that? Okay. So you know what your secret fantasy is? It's your dream. It's your dream. That's what your secret fantasy is. That's what gives you purpose to do what you want to do. So, remember I talked about this aspect of being your own boss, right? And I have my wife sitting here this afternoon with us. And it's interesting, she's only heard this about 10,000 times, but she's here today again. And one thing she said to me some years ago about that, people being their own boss, she says, you know what, that's great, but people have a very forgiving boss. Because when you think accountability, the first thing people want to do is run as fast as they can in the opposite direction. So I want to give you a new definition for accountability and how it can work for you. That new definition is as follows. It is your competitive advantage. It is your competitive advantage. Make sense to you? Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what will separate people all the time, is how accountable they are to their non-negotiable disciplines. So you know many times you have a statement of saying something like, I don't have enough time. And then you wonder why you don't have enough time. So all the years that we've said that, it's become a conditioned response, and we'll talk about how that conditioned response works. So number 2, letter B says, if you could have anyone's job, who would you be? Anybody got an idea? Eric, who would you be?
Greg Norman.
Okay.
Believe it or not.
Yeah. Who else? Anybody else have an idea? I'd be a multitude of people. I'd be part Richard Branson.
Carlos Slim was my second.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Steven Tyler. and the business acronym of Gene Simmons. So one night, I'm watching TV, and it's about 2 in the morning, and Gene Simmons is being interviewed on a financial show, and I'm clicking through, and I go, why is he on this show? I said, I got to check this out. And listen to this. You know, sometimes people think they can't learn anything from rock and roll. You missed that one. And he says, while everybody else was busy writing songs and having infighting about who was going to run the band and so forth, I was building a brand. Did you hear? Yeah. He built a brand, and he's all over the place. He's all over the place. Now, I'm going to share something with you. You got to build your brand. You're the brand. People want to buy you. Now, how did I learn this lesson? Years ago, I had a very dear friend of mine, Terry. He's my commodities broker. And we had met sometime in the early 80s, and he would stay at a firm for a couple of years, and he went on to another firm, and then he'd move on to another firm. About the third time he changed, I said, Terry, what's going on? Why are you moving from place to place? And he goes, well, actually, they gave me a signing bonus, and I moved over here. And I went, oh, okay, so I get it, the opportunity. And I said, great, good for you. And all his clients followed him. How come? He built a brand. Real simple. He built a brand. And the way you brand yourself is consistently staying in contact with your database, isn't it? Not every once in a while or when it's convenient or when you're not too busy. Not that. You have to take very purposeful action on a daily basis. So remember, everything I'm talking about with you here today is to take a look at being your own boss, managing your own time, and having the lifestyle that you want. Okay? So letter C under number 2 says, listen to your intuition, learn to trust it. What's your intuition? What is your name? Yes? Olania. Olania? What is your intuition? Okay. But do you have an idea?
It's your inner being.
Yeah. That little voice that talks to you down here all the time, every day.
Well, you know you should be doing.
Oh, well, you got to understand. You got to get out of here.
What's wrong with you?
This right up here is a nasty neighborhood. It'll mug you all day long. It will. It will. Your mind can be a very mean and nasty place. It'll talk you out of things. This down here talks you into things. This intuition is that little voice you hear all the time that's nudging you, telling you to do something, or in some cases, not to do something. But we have a tendency not to listen to the little voice that's telling us to do something because of all the conditioning we've been through throughout our entire life. So you need to start learning to trust that part of yourself. Does that make sense to you? Yeah. Right. So number 3 says prosperity. Okay. So it's nothing really new, is it? And I'm not talking just about making money. I'm talking about being prosperous in every area of your life. And how do you do that? Well, letter A says ask. I'll do a little spiritual innuendos with you. Anybody read the Bible from time to time? Yes. Yeah? I'm on my 3rd trip through it. And you know the most interesting thing about it? It's the best sales training manual you can ever read. Yeah. And so this is what I want you to write down for yourself. Matthew 7:7. And you've heard it, and it sounds like this. Ask and you shall receive. Seek and you shall find. Knock and doors shall be opened unto you. So the most funniest thing about this is that, you know, people really enjoy this part of it because I'm saying, look, you know, regardless of your religion, it doesn't make any difference. We can talk about Buddha. It doesn't make any difference. They're all saying the exact same thing. The exact same thing. And so how come we're not following some of this? Because our own conditioning has gotten in the way. And we'll talk about how that has happened. Then letter B under number 3 is believe. Believe. And what I want you to write down there, while others are doubting. While others are doubting, you need to believe in yourself more than anyone else believes in you. It has to start with you. While other people are doubting, you just believe. Then,
Sorry, I have a question here.
yeah.
Regarding my belief,
Yes.
is it believing in myself or believing on the up there that will provide prosperity to me? So what will be the balance, if you will?
Okay. Well, I'm not too much of a balance guy, and I'll explain to you. I know it's very contradictory to everything you've learned in your life. They say, well, you got to balance your life, and you know what? I've never met anybody that's been able to do it successfully. What I have noticed is the people who integrate their lifestyle have control over it. So an integration rather than a balance. So if we look at it spiritually for a second, Sal, we can say it this way. Yes, you must believe in yourself, and then whether we want to call it God or our higher power or whatever doesn't make any difference to me. The way that it is written, the way the word comes to us in all forms is, when you believe in yourself, I will believe in you too. But you have to start with you. I mean, you got to understand, there have been numerous people who have believed in you in your life, and then you didn't take action on it. Yes or yes? Yeah. So guess what? You're not surrounding yourself with the right people. See, take a look. My very first trainer, we just lost this fabulous gentleman last November. He was my very, very, very first trainer, Zig Ziglar.
Wow.
Okay? I had the pleasure of training under him for 18 months. And he wasn't taking anybody on at the time, and I was just such a pest that he finally said, okay, but this is the way it's going to work. And you probably understand Zig. He's not kind of a no-nonsense guy. You want to get results, quit playing around. And that's what people do. They play around too much, and because you have a very forgiving boss, see, and you're not holding yourself accountable to the non-negotiable disciplines, you don't end up getting what you really, really want the most. But the truth is, sometimes when I'm doing and delivering programs, I say, do you think salespeople are lazy? And what would you say?
Yes.
Go ahead, tell me.
Yes.
Yes? You think
A
so?
lot of them are.
Really?
Yeah.
No. No, they're not. I'm going to tell you. If you're talking about yourself, I'm going to tell you something right now. You're not lazy. You're not lazy at all, but I will tell you this. You lack focus. If you don't know where your focus is, you can't put forth any discipline. If you can't put forth any discipline, you can't stay focused on what you want to give yourself. And you know what? There's all sorts of wonderful things you want to give yourself. And you're worthy and deserving of having it and having it all. And you can have whatever you want. It doesn't make any difference. Doesn't make any difference. So, we move from prosperity, or letter C rather, into receiving. Okay, how do you receive? How do you receive? You got to have an open mind and an open heart. An open mind and an open heart. Let the blessings flow in. So, this is what I mean about let the blessings flow in. How many of you have a rear view mirror in your car?
Yeah.
Anybody have one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Better.
What do you use it for?
See what's happening behind you.
See what's happening behind you. Okay. I have a rear view mirror too. So some time ago, I took a little Post-it and I wrote major blessings on it. And I cut off the sticky part of it, which I wrote on, and then I put it in the lower right-hand corner of my rear view mirror. Because to tell you the truth, I don't care who's behind me. I'm just looking for God's blessing to chase me down and overtake me. Can I get a hell yeah?
Hell yeah.
Can I get a hell yeah?
Hell yeah.
See? That a good idea? Yeah. So it goes around to what's your expectation? If you're not expecting the best for yourself, you're meaning you're going to get the status quo, whatever life wants to hand you. So in the real estate business, you go to a lot of the marketing meetings. There's always somebody up there doing stats, right? About 30 seconds later, how many of you are cleaning out your purses? You go, big deal. And you hear all these stats, and you know what it means? You start buying in, inventory's low. Well, there's nothing, nobody wants to sell. Nobody wants to buy. Really? That's the truth? No. Your economy exists right between your ears. That's your economy. That's where it exists. I don't care what's going on out there. Your economy exists right between your ears. So that's about the prosperity. You got to be open to receiving. Number 4 is power. Reach and grab your personal power. And how do you do that? Which one would you write down for yourself under letter A is remove self-imposed limitations, fears, and doubts. Remove self-imposed limitation, fears, and doubts. And this power becomes available to you when you change your beliefs. When you change your beliefs. Hyphen Maxwell Maltz. You know that? Anybody know that name? Who has read Psycho-Cybernetics?
I don't remember the name.
Okay. Voluntarily mandatory to read Psycho-Cybernetics. See, everything that you do in your business life and life itself is all based upon a belief system. So what Henry Ford says, whether you think you're right or you think you're wrong, you're right. So you're always either talking yourself into something or talking yourself out of something, right? All right. So let's go to page number 2. So we'll talk about your personal financial blueprint. Your strategy is out of 100%, your strategy is how much of your business plan is on strategy. You're right, 10%. And your passion is what? 90%. I'll give you an example. You ever watch Shark Tank?
Huh?
Uh-huh.
Very cool.
And you know what? What are you pulling away from that besides an entertainment value? What lesson are you learning from it?
You better have a good business plan, and you better be prepared to know your numbers to be able to get somebody to invest in you.
Okay, keep going. What's the last word there?
Invest. Passion.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to be enormously passionate about it. And every time I watch the show, everybody who gets funded is enormously passionate about it. And I've seen the people stand up there and give all the hard numbers, and they go, "Why, you're not too passionate about this." Have you experienced the same thing? You want people to respond better to you, your suspects and your clients and everybody? You want them to do that? Maybe you ought to just kick up your excitement level a little bit. Smile more. So write this down for yourself. Happiness is the inner fuel to success. Happiness is the fuel to your success, the inner happiness that you have. The inner happiness is the fuel to success. Okay? So let's do this. Let's inventory your work habits. Tell me your 3 best work habits.
Organized.
You're organized. Great. What else?
Show up every day.
Say again.
Show up every day.
Show up every day.
Follow up.
That's what Woody Allen would say. 90% of your success is showing up. Eric?
Follow up.
Follow up. So here's the thing. Isn't it interesting? All the years that I've been training and I speak with people, one of the most interesting thing is when I sit down with their manager, the first thing their manager does, in a performance review is saying, well, what are your weaknesses? Yes or yes? Very first thing they do. And I go, why would somebody want to do that? Why would someone want to do that? Why would I be concerned about your weaknesses? Because this is the way people have been conditioned, and they think that's the way to get better. And I'm going to tell you something. This is the way your mind really works. You focus on your strengths and your weaknesses go away because they're not getting any energy. Make sense? So the more you convince yourself of your strengths and you keep feeding them, the better you become. But you're always usually putting more emphasis on what you're not doing. So if you did 10 things throughout the entire day and 9 were positive, I know for a fact you will talk about the one thing you didn't get accomplished.
It's true. Yeah, that's true.
See? So think about this for a minute. What happens when you shift your mindset? When you move it over to focusing on what you did accomplish during the day. You know who was the real master of this? Who said this statement? I am the greatest. He didn't say, well, someday I'll be the greatest. And if things work out, I'll be the greatest. And if I get the right trainer, I'll be the greatest. You know what? I loved the moment I heard that, and I was a teenager at the time, and I absolutely fell in love with that statement. You know what's more fascinating? Is that everybody back in that day when he first came on the scene, everybody's saying, I hope, this guy's arrogant. I hope somebody knocks his block off. Well, dumbing it down a little bit. But you know what? Here's the bottom line. If you don't promote yourself on your own greater good, who's going to do it? Nobody. Not in this business. So if you're not promoting yourself on your own greater good every day. So I'm going to give you an exercise to do. I just want you to do this and see how it works for you. Every morning after I get all ready to go and leave my home for the day, I stand in front, and in my living room, we have this big mirror in our living room. It's about, I guess it's 4 feet tall, 5 feet tall, about 8 feet long. It's a big mirror. I look into that mirror, and I got my arms outstretched like this, and I go, hello world, ready or not, here I come. See? And then I get into my car, and what's in that rearview mirror up in the lower right-hand corner? Major blessings. They're just chasing me down and overtaking me all day long. Now, I know what you're going to say. Well, geez, you're just getting people's hopes up. Okay, I'm guilty. Well, I have an acronym for the word hope. Help other people evolve. Help other people evolve. And I do that, and as Don told you, I am what is termed a mindset performance expert. That's my background. I'm a behavioral therapist. Don't anybody panic. I won't turn it into a sensitivity training. So all the people that are laughing, I now know who's been in therapy.
Never. Don't plan to do that. Never.
And the fun part of it is to notice that we are such powerful people, and you've heard this said to you all your life. You can do anything you want. Anything you want. But the question is, what do you want? And when you ask people what they want, if it's not rolling off your tongue, then it's not a priority. And so what I begin to see is this. The ladies here in the room, do you like pearls? Do you like pearls? Huh? Yeah?
Honestly, no.
No, you like pearls. Yeah.
No.
Most women I've met have always said, yeah, I really love, pearls. They're very, very beautiful. So the question is this: how is a pearl formed?
And the clam, shell, oyster.
Yeah. Keep going.
Over time.
The way a pearl is formed is in an oyster. You're right about that. But one tiny, almost microscopic grain of sand works itself into the oyster and keeps irritating it until this beautiful pearl is formed. And if you're not willing to be irritated, you will never grow. So what I do as a sales performance gentleman, loosely, is irritate you in the nicest way I know possible. Telling you that you can do better than what you're doing if you have a willingness to shift the way that you think and feel about what you do on a day-to-day basis. Okay? So Don had said, well, I think it'd be important, Roger, for people to understand how you wrote this book. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes of how it happened. A very dear friend of mine, who when you get the copy of your book today, you'll see the acknowledgement in the back, came to one of my public seminars over 25 years ago. His mother drug him to it. And I think he was 24 years old at the time. And he now is in the top 2% of farmers insurance agents in the state of California. Has been for 23 years out of his 25 years in business. And I've done a lot of training and coaching with him and so forth, and we're very, very best friends, and he's one of my inner circle guys. So he had called me up the better part of 13 months ago and said, hey, could we get together Friday and let's have a beer and kind of catch up? I said, okay. So we were down at the Almaden Chicken Coop. And we get together and we talk for a couple of minutes, and then he looks at me, gets a big smile on his face, and he goes, geez, how's that book coming along? I don't know what are you talking about? How's the book coming along? I said, I have no idea what you're talking about, Todd. What are you talking about, a book? It's that book you're supposed to write? I went, oh. And he was very complimentary on some of his remarks to me about how his success had gone, and I was a big part of that, and said, thank you, Todd, it's great, And I said, I don't know about writing this book. I'm extremely busy with my coaching work and my speaking engagements, my workshops. And he goes, you need to have people hear the big dream concept and philosophy. Okay. So I go home. Carolyn greets me, and she goes, hey, how was the meeting with Todd? And I go, great. I said, but he said the strangest darn thing to me. And she goes, what's that? I said, well, he told me that I'm supposed to write a book. Which she put her hands on her hips and said, you've been threatening me for 10 years with that. Would you please just do it? I went, okay. That's how it all started. Now, this is what I did, so you get an understanding of how important it is to surround yourself with important people. Everybody in my inner circle that I told that I was going to do it said the first thing out of their mouth was, what can I do to help? What can I do to help? Then I went to people who were just acquaintances, and I told them about it, and they go, really? You're not an author. Is it going to be like one of those self-help book things? Isn't there enough of those around? Now, you see the difference? Just like your hand, two sides, doesn't it? You have people that will be for you and do anything they can in the world, and you have the naysayers. And I'm going to tell you right now, you have too many naysayers in your life. Yes or yes?
Absolutely.
Yeah. You're not the idiot whisperer. I know most of you think, yeah, but they need me. Their life will fall apart without me. Well, they'll be just fine. And you need to keep yourself very focused on what you want to do. Now, I went further with it, with the aspect of, if I can do it, anybody can do it. So I don't care what your dream is. Doesn't matter. I want you to pursue it very passionately. Very, very passionately. So, 3 best work habits. Put your energy into what you do well every day. Number 2, inventory your work attitudes. Wow, that's one. So what's your best attitude towards work every day?
Gotta be positive.
Well, it's got to be a little bit more than positive. That's a given.
Consistent.
Yes. Say it loud.
Consistent.
Consistency. Consistency. You must maintain a consistent, positive attitude about what you do day in and day out. What's another positive work habit, attitude?
Make it a point to meet somebody new.
Yeah.
Every single day.
Every day. Every day. It is your responsibility to at least one or more people that don't know who you are. Let me tell you what I mean by that. It's not who you know, it's who knows you. Just the opposite, isn't it? It's not who you know. Listen, you've all gone through this. You've sold homes to people over the years, and all of a sudden you're on the MLS looking up a piece of property. You see a home that you sold to somebody, and now they've relisted it, but not with you. And you go, why would they do that? Those people loved me. And if you were brave enough, you called them up and said, how come you didn't call me? And they go, you know what? I didn't know that you were in the business anymore. I haven't heard from you in ever. Yes or yes? Yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. I had a broker recently tell me up in San Francisco, he goes, Roger, I totally identify with that. My uncle used another realtor because when I saw that he had listed his property, I go, what'd you do that for? And he goes, I forgot you were in the business. Mm-hmm. So if you take it for granted, all these people that you've done wonderful things for, and they gave you gifts and nice letters and all this kind of cool stuff, and you haven't reached out and touched them on a consistent basis, they have forgotten about you. So I want you to write something down in big letters, put this on a card, post it all over your home and your office, wherever it is. Sales is a perishable skill. Sales is a perishable skill. If you don't practice it, it will atrophy. It will become weak because of non-use. Okay? So here's the idea. Why not be on the top of your game every day? Because people have always asked me, Roger, how do you prospect? How do you keep doing that every day, day in and day out? I don't have to do a lot of that anymore. But I still do it to keep my edge. And you know what I've convinced myself of? People are just dying to hear what I have to say. Now, don't you think you should adopt the same mindset? You have a gift. You have a gift. Number one, you love people, don't you? You love people, otherwise you wouldn't be in this business. And you all have best friends, right? But how come you won't talk to strangers? Come on.
Fear.
Yeah.
Conditioning.
Conditioning, yes. So tell me another great work attitude that you have.
You don't know what to say.
No. Give me something positive to say. Okay, now I'm going to disprove that to you very quickly and shortly on the next page, or actually number 3. But tell me another positive. Eric?
Working well with others in your office.
Yeah.
Your
Play
accountability
nice.
Partners, you play nice. They, that goes a long way. People will help you. They'll give you open houses. They will think about you. They will, if you deal with them, potentially this year, next year, 10 years from now, it could go a long way.
Absolutely.
Just to echo off of what Eric said, just to make it a point to meet at least 1 to 5 more new realtors every week.
Yeah.
That need to know who we are so that when inventory is slow or low, that they're gonna pick up the phone, they're gonna go, you know what, I think I like this person, I'm gonna call, or if I call, then they're very receptive to the call, and they're gonna put me at the top of the list.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you a secret just parlaying off what Carolyn said. You go to marketing meetings?
Mm-hmm.
You go to marketing meetings?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Why are you sitting with the same people every week?
Exactly. So there's somebody new.
Go sit with someone that you don't know.
Right.
See? Here's the problem. And I have a solution for you, by the way.
Good.
If you keep sitting with all the people that you're comfortable with, you never get to meet anybody else. You never get to meet anybody else. Go sit down and introduce yourself. Like I go to a lot of meetings, right? And I get a little name tag that says, hello, my name is. And I put that on. And then if I had scheduled an event to meet with you, and I was going to meet with Dawn, and we're going to go meet at a marketing meeting, and it's going to be at 6 o'clock in the evening, and it's going to be this, a wine thing. We go, okay. And so Dawn gets there first. And I see him way in the back of the room. And he sees me and he waves at me and I wave back to him and I sign in. I slap my name tag on, and then generally what people will do is, how do I get from here to there the quickest way possible and not have to talk to anybody? Yes or yes?
True.
Yeah.
Yes.
See? Now, here's the way I process it. I go, this is unbelievable. Don's in the back of the room. I'm up here. And he's been so kind to form a reception line for me. Now I get to introduce myself to all these people on the way. Now, you think I'm joking about this, but last summer, Carolyn and I, we went over to Santa Cruz, because they have the Woody show over there for the surfers, and I'm a surfer. So I went, okay, and some friends of ours that are realtors as well met us over there. And so this guy's walking alongside of me, right? It's just a beautiful day, and I looked at him and right away introduced myself and said, hi, my name is Roger. And he goes, oh, hi, Roger, my name's Jose. And I said, great, nice to meet you. Isn't this great? I said, you come to this? Well, we're walking along the pier, right? Now watch this. I stop, and he goes, what? And I go, where are you going to be like at 3 o'clock this afternoon so I can get that beer that you want to buy me? He did the same thing. He did the exact same thing. He laughed and he chuckled. Guess what? At 3 o'clock, he found me, comes, taps me on the shoulder, and he goes, here's your beer, Roger. So you see what I'm saying? And that is just a matter of going out and having some fun.
Make it fun.
Yeah. Just, you love to talk to people, talk to them. Talk to them, right? The other morning, I was up at the Evergreen meeting up in Silver Creek, and I was invited to do one of my presentations, and some people were purchasing the book afterwards, and a gentleman came up to me, and he goes, Roger, he says, I'm not a realtor. I was here installing some security cameras. I'm the contractor for the building, and he goes, again, he says, I'm not a realtor, but can I buy one of your books? I said, of course you can. Well, here's the interesting thing. It doesn't matter if you're a realtor or a contractor. Apparently, some of the things I said resonated with him. Because this is not about business in the sense of real estate knowledge. You've got real estate knowledge. You got all the real estate knowledge you need. People skills is what you want to develop. That's why Don brought me here. That's why he's brought me onto the company as his chief performance officer. It's all going to be about your skill set relative to your habits and attitudes. Give me one more positive work attitude that you have.
Smile.
Well, yeah, smile, definitely. What else?
Share, help others.
Yeah, absolutely. What else? Come on. This is easy. Come on, you guys.
Well, you guys say something.
Follow up.
Yeah. How important is follow-up?
Extremely.
Okay, because I'm going to tell you this. Let me break down a formula for you so you see how it works. If you spend time calling people up, setting appointments, going and holding open houses, you do all of that, and then you don't follow up with people afterwards, you've wasted all that time. It's meaningless. So I have a formula that I operate with. You all are familiar with ROI, right? What's ROI?
Return on investment.
Right. I'm glad that you know what it's defined as. But here's the other part that goes with it. TE, time expended. If you're going to expend your time, get a return on your investment. You hold an open house and you don't follow up with people that came to visit because you start thinking, oh, they said they weren't really interested in this, that. Yeah, okay. If I can put you off that easily, I don't want you for an agent. And I know what you're thinking. Well, I don't want to appear pushy. Okay. How about this? How about shamelessly persistent? Huh?
Yeah.
Shamelessly persistent. Not too long ago, I was doing a similar event of this nature, and some guy just kind of said, you know what, I don't know that I like you. And I go, okay, raise your standards. Now, you see what I'm talking about? It's just having a good time. So this is return on investment of what? Time expended. You're going to go out there, hold open houses. You're going to make prospect calls. You're going to follow up. Get a return on your investment of your time. Look, you got to stop with the idea, I don't have enough time. I'll show you how that works. Let's go down to number 3, why we do what we do. This is what we call behavioral conditioning. This is where the crux of it comes into play. Okay, number 1, are we creatures of habit?
Yes.
Yeah, write that down for yourself. I am a creature of habit. Because the truth is, you don't think about procrastinating. You don't think about having the fear of rejection. You don't think about those things, do you? You don't think about being stressed out. But is that pretty much what you find yourself displaying every day? So you're a creature of habit. So this is the way it breaks down. 600 functions a day out of pure habit. 560 are considered positive and constructive. 40 are negative or counterproductive. Are you all positive people?
Yes.
Louder?
Yes.
Do you go home thinking about the 560 or the 40?
Or 40.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So intellectually, we know what the answer is, don't we? Intellectually. However, it is the displaying of our habits and our attitude that's most important. See, it goes back to the same thing. If I ask you, are you a negative person, what do you tell me? No. However, if I sat down with you and I said, let me take a peek at your daily planner to see what your activities have been for the day, you'd go, really? And so all of a sudden, it's not what we say, it's what we do. Okay? And I just want you to keep in mind, your return on investment is always going to be about the time that you expend. So we are very, very positive people, but we have a tendency because of our own conditioning that we focus on the things that we haven't accomplished. So if I ask you, why don't you prospect, what do you tell me?
I don't have time. It doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work. I don't have time. Right? Well, keep peeling back the layers for a second, and from the behavioral level, this is what we know. The reason people don't prospect is the fear of rejection. Okay, how did I learn that? How did I actually learn it? Well, right, well, here's the other part that goes with this. 85% of all of our habits and attitudes are formed by the time we are 12. You're right, 12 years old. So, you go, uh-oh, really? How have I managed to do so relatively well? Well, here's the thing. How many can remember mom and dad saying something like this? Be seen and not heard. Don't go where you're not wanted. Only speak when you are spoken to, and don't you ever, 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 ever speak to strangers. And you wonder why you don't want to tell people what you do. Now, here's the thing. You heard that message in excess of 10,000 times by the time you were how old? 12. And if you don't erase it and eradicate it, it will own you forever. How about that? Now, think about this for a second. Do you think it gets in the way of you making money? So I'm going to take this into a real money thing for a second. How many of you feel that you should be closing an extra deal per month if you prospected appropriately? Anybody? Okay. Yeah. That should be a minimum. That should be a minimum. But because you don't follow up with people, and because this rejection fear gets in the way, you never move forward with it. Yes or yes? Yeah. So all of a sudden, what would it be like if that wasn't there? What if you looked forward to prospecting and you start having fun with it?
Make it easier.
Yeah, be easier. And then you think for a second, okay, well, geez, a $700,000 transaction, $500,000 transaction based on my commission split would make me an extra 10, 15 grand, something like that, right? Oh, but I guess it's more important to deal with the fear and not take any action. So let's see, we got 10 grand times 12 months, that's 120 grand. Anybody use an extra 120?
It's that dream.
See? So what we have here, 560 habits and attitudes we perform during the day. They're positive, 40 are negative. Now we got to change our thinking around. See, when I think about conditioning, I love to tell the story. Some years ago, I was invited to a Thanksgiving holiday, and you know how most of the time you're sitting in the kitchen and everybody gathers in the kitchen to talk. And so what had happened was, I was watching the lady prepare the ham, and she literally cut off a quarter of the ham. And I go, I'm sorry, I'm just watching you do this. Why did you cut off that quarter of the ham? And she goes, since I was a little girl and watched my mom do it, that's what she did, and I just always did it. I went, okay, well, where's Mom? So she took me over to her mother, and I asked her mom, I said, I was just watching what your daughter did, and she cut off this quarter piece of the ham, and I was wondering, like, why did you do that? Because she said she learned it from you. And she goes, well, actually, I learned it from my mother. And I said, is Grandma here? So I go, she brings me over to her mother, and I said, I was noticing your daughter and your granddaughter in preparing the ham, and they both told me the same story, that she learned it from her mother, and that your daughter said she learned it from you. And I was just curious, like, why did you cut off the quarter piece of the ham? And she goes, it wouldn't fit in the pan.
That's hilarious.
So here you have two generations that go, I don't know. And that's the way most of it goes. That's the way most of it goes. See? So when we have these things and you think about, now I'm just talking to you about the fear of rejection for a moment. All right? So what if we talked about this thing about, are there other fears like the fear of success? It's not that people have really the fear of failure. It's more they have the fear of success. Now you go, well, that sounds kind of strange. I mean, people have a fear of success? Yeah. And I'll tell you why I mean this and how it works for you. How many of you have ever just totally outperformed yourself in a given month in production? Just totally outperformed yourself. And everybody's giving you the atta-girls and atta-boys, way to go. And then your manager or owner's just looking at you, and he goes, after you got all the atta-boys and atta-girls, say, Carol, come here a second. Why aren't you doing this every month? And you go, well, the stars were aligned. Everything fell into place. You got all these great rationalizations for it. But the truth is, there was something you really, really, really wanted. And you went ahead and you did it. And so what happens is, because people will outperform themselves, they will tend to go back to that level of performance because this is the new level. It's taken them out of their comfort zone. What happens is like this. See this down here? This is what I call the valley of fear. This is the valley of fear. And most people have set up household down here. They set up household down there. Right? Yeah. Because why?
It's comfortable.
Yeah, thank you. And somebody much wiser than myself had said, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. That's when life begins. When you truly want to live your life on your terms. Your terms. Not what society says, not what somebody told you, but your terms. So do you think when you run into a broker owner of a company like Don that says, I want to see people succeed, I want to bring them value far and above what they now have, see their growth go to the limit far beyond what they think they can do, well, that's where it resides. Every study from Stanford to Harvard, they will tell you this, just so you know. Thousands of studies. That at the best, 10% of what you do throughout the entire day is based on product knowledge. What's the other 90%?
Action.
Yeah, habits and attitudes. The actions you take about those things. What I call non-negotiable disciplines. So let me give you an idea. One of the companies I was working up with in the Burlingame area. I sat down with the owner of the company, and we went through everybody's production, 300 agents. On average, all of his agents increased their production about 11%. Big deal. Really? Big deal. On average, the agents that did my training, on average, 37%. Average. Most everybody in the 60 to 100% range. One fella, 700%. Yeah. So you know what? Everybody sitting here today has this untapped potential that you want to get to. It is what I call your acre of diamonds. So right in your own backyard, here's all these acres of diamonds, and you're not mining them. Right? You can't sit at your desk and expect somebody to trip over the welcome mat and land and say, hey, well, could you list my house? See? And I'm going to tell you something else. And you know this. Some of you have clients that you need to fire. Yes or yes? Yeah. They are wasting your time. So why are you holding on to them? Oh, I don't have anything else. So they go like this. You know what those people do? They hold up a fiery ring. They go, jump through this. Jump through this hoop. And later on they go, here, jump through this hoop. Is that right, Carol? Yep. Let them go. I'm going to tell you something. In real estate school, you learned a phrase called and you've never, ever repeated it again. And you need to get a mindset you're looking for ready, able, and willing buyers and sellers. That's who you should think about attracting to yourself. That's what your intention is. What intention are you putting out to the universe? How many of you have watched the DVD, The Secret? Anybody? Yeah. How many of you have watched it more than once? In the last 30 days? 60 days? 90 days? Okay? Yeah, Carolyn, she raises her hand. Oh, here's the thing. Oh, I know. You saw it one time and you went, oh, I got it. Really? And I can stand here today and I can tell you, really? How many of you downloaded the check from the universe? How many of you got a gratitude rock? Mm-hmm. So you hear information and then you don't act on it, do you? Okay, how come?
Short-lived entertainment.
That's right. You took it for entertainment value. So what you have on your seat there was this wristband. Everybody got that wristband? Mm-hmm. You wear it every day. I'm going to tell you the value of the wristband so you understand something. It's just not because I had this, cool marketing idea. It was a cool marketing idea. But the colors, that was Carolyn because she's the artist in the family. So she picked the colors. But here's the other thing behind it. You can go all the way back to Benjamin Franklin. And I'm a very, very avid reader. So I always look to people. I don't need to reinvent the wheel all the time. I always look to people just a little bit smarter than me. And he talked about why he wasn't getting ahead in his life. And he talked about the virtues, not the habits, he called them virtues, that he needed to put in place in order to be successful in his life. And one of his virtues was always having physical reminders on his person and pasted up all over his office and home of what he wanted to achieve. And I'm going to suggest you do the same thing. And that's why the band was created, so that you could go, oh yeah, dream big, I dare you. And that's kind of cool, isn't it? Because you know, when you're a kid, you had a best friend, didn't you? And you used to play with your best friend all the time. And there was always challenges going on. And they would go, I dare you. What did you say back? I double dare you. And then you knew the challenge was on. And that's why I wrote the book, is to take the dare. Do what it takes to align your reality with your expectations. That's the dare challenge. You'll do it when you get the book. All right. So why don't people change? Why don't people change? Fear of change? What else? Before you write anything down, let's just talk about it for a second. Why don't people change? Fear of unknown. What else?
Sometimes they don't know how.
Thank you. Many times people will say, don't write that down. I don't know how. If I knew how, I would do it. But I don't know how. I've exhausted everything I know how to do. Right? I've listened to all my naysayer friends, and they've given me bad advice. So I was told a long time ago that you need to expand your inner circle of people. If you're the smartest person in your group's too small.
That's good.
Think about it. And so when you think about having an inner circle of people, you don't always have people in the same line of business you're in. Because then you're only going to get one perspective, aren't you? So you want to have different people from different areas of your life, different businesses. They'll bring something fresh. It's like going to network meetings. What a waste of time. I know what you're going to say. Oh, no, it's not. Yeah, well, here's what networking does. Hi, Carol, my name's Roger. How can you help me grow my business? Can you give me some business? Do you got any business? Got any clients? So here's the difference between networking and net weaving. See, I'm a net weaver. When I net weave, I go, hi, Carol, my name's Roger. How can I help you grow your business? Oh, you want to do something for me? Yeah. See the difference? Rather than taking, you are giving. Right? And gratitude today is the way you're going to get more of what you want in your life. If you keep going, this piece of crap car that I got, it's always breaking down, and you keep dissing it, guess what? It'll keep doing it. So you're going, well, how can I be grateful? Right? Well, you can be grateful for a lot of things in your life. And you should be extremely grateful every day for everything that you have. Because if you want more, you have to be grateful for what you have. It's a number one key to success. You'll see it when you read my book. I devoted a whole chapter to it. Why did I do it? Because every book, every avatar I've ever listened to in my life always talked about gratitude. Always talked about gratitude. And I know sometimes you might be challenged to think, well, what do I have to be grateful for? You got 1,000 things to be grateful for every day. So, here's why people don't change. All right? Letter A. People emotionally believe that they can't. People emotionally believe that they can't change. What's the key word?
Or believe.
Yeah. Yeah. Emotionally believe should be underlined in quotes. Second reason that people don't change is they are scared to make a choice on their future. So here's what you're left with that. Either you make clear and concise choices, or circumstances will make choices for you. Right? Yeah? So Now you notice I didn't use the word decide, did I? I didn't use that word. You know why? What words rhyme with decide that end in C-I-D-E? Suicide. Genocide. Fratricide. Homicide. Right? Now watch this. See, that's what happens when you decide to do things. You murder the alternative. Now, what sounds even better? Doing things out of your choice and choosing them, or deciding? What would you rather do? Choose. Because every time you've done this, you stomp your foot. I've decided. I'm not kidding this time. You know? It's like, you know, we are in the new year, and this is when I despise going to the gym. You know why? Because everybody got their little gym membership, you know, from their family, or, you know, here, honey, go to the gym. You know, but I love it because by the end of the month, they're all gone anyway. They're not there anymore. So, what's the value of keeping your word? A lot. I'm going to tell you where it has the most impact is with yourself. You've got to keep your word with yourself about what you're going to do on a daily basis. That is a non-negotiable discipline. Okay? All right, page number 3. Are you enjoying this so far?
Yes.
Cool, thank you. All right, so page number 3, number 5. My 3 greatest fears are. What would you tell me?
Poverty.
Poverty. Okay. What else?
The unknown.
The unknown. What else? Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of rejection, fear of intimidation. Whatever it is, you'll come up with all these different things. But you have to be able to identify them. And the reason I say to identify them is because if you don't know what they are, you can't do anything about them. So if you take and I have a solution for you. So if you look down further, it says fear. And there's two ways to look at this. There's 2 acronyms to use. On the left, it could be fear everything and run. Okay? Fear everything and run. Or it could be false evidence appearing real. Or the acronym on the right, and my favorite, it's a Rogerism. Is face everything and rise.
Yeah.
Face everything and rise. That's kind of cool, isn't it?
Yes.
Because residing in everyone here is this vast amount of courage, and you just forgot about it. Because you've done enormously courageous things in your life. But you've forgotten about it, and you don't want to remind yourself about it for some reason. And so I want you to know, it's okay to remind yourself about them. When someone gives you a compliment about something, say thank you. Don't make an excuse. You go, wow, that's a beautiful dress. This rag, I've had this for years. Right? See, let me see here. 1, 2 of you are in business here
That's right.
because you have a name tag on.
My girlfriend asked me why I wear it so often. I go, I want people to know what I do. I go, why don't you wear yours? She goes, I don't know. I guess I'm afraid they'll ask me a question.
Yeah, yeah. Because if you don't have your name tag on, you are a secret agent.
That's true.
You're a secret agent. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody knows who you are. There's some studies done behind this that tell you if you're wearing your name tag, you by accident will sell 4 to 6 homes a year. Because somebody will go, you know what? You're in real estate. I have a question for you.
The grocery store.
Oh, first sale she ever made. Grocery store because she had her name tag on.
Oh, serious? Yeah.
See? So if you don't wear your name tag, you're a secret agent. So I want everybody to give me your word. From this day forward, you'll wear your name tag every day. Yes or yes?
Yes.
Okay. And you'll always keep your wristband on.
Yes.
because you always need to dream big. If you don't have a reminder, you'll forget about it. And this is not about thinking what I'm saying today and going, well, it's pretty cool, Roger, thank you very much, and you go off the map. Isn't it time to let go of the status quo?
Yes.
Status quo doesn't work. You never watch, who watches Jesse James, the motorcycle builder? Anybody watch his show on TV? No. Okay. Let me tell you, he's a premier motorcycle builder, one of the best in the world, also for cars, okay? He's got a 3-year backlog. I'm watching his show one evening, and he built a custom motorcycle for Kid Rock, and they were going to go on a road trip down to Mexico for like 3 weeks. And so he's building him a bike. And so Kid Rock says, well, what are you going to build for yourself? And he goes, I don't know. He goes, I'm tapped on my skill set. I want something different, but I don't have the skill set to make what I want to make. So guess what he did? He's bright enough, and he goes and he searches out this guy in the Midwest who has this gigantic farm, and actually all the car companies go to him when they want something innovative. And he has one particular piece of equipment, the only piece that exists in the world. And for a week it shows Jesse James learning how to use this piece of equipment. Now, wouldn't it be nice if you had a 3-year backlog of clients that wanted to buy homes from you? So if Jesse James is going, I need to improve my skill set, what's it telling us? Better improve your skill set, right? And so the idea was he studies for a week, then he goes back, and now he's inspired. And the problem is most people don't look for inspiration. I get accused of this all the time. Well, Roger, you're kind of like a motivational speaker. No, I'm not. I'm far from it. This is the way I just live my life. Because I learned it from Zig. Because he would always get accused of being a motivational speaker, and he'd always say this. This is brilliant. He goes, motivation is like bathing. You do it every day. And he's saying the same thing to us. If you're not, why don't you do this? Why don't you just not watch TV for a week and read a book? What's going to propel your business forward?
The book.
Yeah. The truth is, for all of us, the more new input we put in, the better we perform. Again, nasty words, non-negotiable discipline, right? So, managing time for results. Letter A says, why do I keep telling myself I don't have enough time? Why do I keep telling myself, I got to go up to choose. Under the solutions there for fears, the acronyms.
Oh, you're choosing this way.
Choose wisely. Choose wisely. Either fear everything and run, or face everything and rise. Okay? All right, number 6, managing time for results. Why do I keep telling myself I don't have enough time? Why do I do that?
You're probably wasting time.
That's one, can be wasting time. What else?
An excuse.
An excuse?
Working on things that aren't important.
Working on things that are unimportant. They are not an AMA, are they?
Absolutely.
They're not an amazing money-making activity. So you think about this. Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci. Pick out ever who you want. All had 24 hours in a day. They didn't have a 36-hour day or a 48 or anything else. You have to realize this. If you keep telling yourself what you don't have, you will always have a shortage of it. Mm-hmm. So you say to yourself this, I don't have enough time. I say, I plan my work and I work my plan. I have a do-it-now attitude. And because you shift your thinking, you change a habit, time is my friend. It's not my enemy. You're always fighting the clock. That's where passion comes into play. It's what I call reverse clock watching. Now watch this. This is kind of cool. When you make friends with time, you'll have an abundance of it. When you're always fighting the clock, you never have enough of it. And I'm going to tell you something else. Do you let people steal money from you? Huh?
No.
You don't let them reach into your pocket, do you, Eric? You don't let them reach into your purse, do you? Oh, no, not at all. Why do you let them steal your time? Well, I want them to think I'm a nice person. Here's my answer. If they're writing you a check each month for your time, listen. If they're not, I suggest you get on with your day. That make sense to you? So tell yourself what you do have. You have an abundance of time. Reverse clock watching at the passion level is this. How many of you ever done this where you were just doing something, you're having so much fun doing it, you uttered these words, I could just do this all day long.
Yes.
That's when you know you're passionate about something. If you go, oh God, I got an office meeting today. I got a marketing meeting. You know, it's like, why don't you do this? I'm going to show you how you can ensure yourself to have a good time with anything that you do. Just take a good time with you. Just take a good time with you. Next time you go to your marketing meeting, wherever it is, or however many you go to, sit with somebody you don't know and introduce yourself. That make sense to you? Yeah.
Yes.
Because as you build your brand, your practice, people will remember you. And then you start talking about, hey, you know what? If you like them, you kind of hit it off. Hey, let's get together. Let's get together. You keep going. You keep going to where all the realtors go.
Gotta go somewhere.
You're not going to find prospects there, are you? Go to where your clients go. Go to where your clients go. Show up there. You'll have AAA clients. Everybody's got AAA clients, don't you? The ones that love you just think you're the best thing since sliced bread. They just cannot stand to stay away from you. They love you. Why don't you strengthen those relationships? Because I want you to write this down for yourself. AAA clients are influencers. And ask them to help you build your brand. Ask them. You know the best thing you can do that? How you can do that? Hey, you know what? You guys have been such a great client. I like to throw a little barbecue for you guys. Invite 50 of your best friends. And the only thing I want you to do is introduce me to everybody. Can you do that? Oh, okay. You spend $300. And you'll get leads and leads and leads, and people will ask you questions, and you're the resident expert. You're the smartest person in the room. See? That's what you always want to position yourself. Position yourself for success. That's what Don does here. That's why he brings me here. Position yourself for success. All right. So, letter B, you are a time management expert. Oh, I know what you're thinking. You're going, oh, no, I'm not. I'm saying, oh, yes, you are. So, I know. You want me to prove it, huh? Now, I'll prove it to you now. Have you ever noticed just before you go on vacation, you make a list of things that need to be done, don't you? Right? Stop the newspaper, mail, put it on hold. You got to figure out what you're going to do with your pets. You're going to water your plant. You have a whole list of things to do. Do you get them all done? Yeah, you get them all done. I'm just wondering why you don't do that on a daily basis for your business. So you can't tell me that you're not a time management expert. I will disagree with you. I've just proved it to you. You are. We go, well, yeah, but that's a fun thing to do. And if you sat and talked with Carolyn, she would tell you I am no different in what I'm doing now and when I'm on holiday. It's the same thing. Richard Branson told us years ago the following. When you love what you do, you'll never work another day in your life. And you gotta be in love with what you do. The value that you bring to other people. Think about what you're doing. You're putting them into a home. You're selling a home for them. That's huge, isn't it? That's gigantic. And when you fall in love with doing that, and if you don't love what you're doing, go do something else. Go do something else. I don't care. But be in love with what you do. I know. It goes back to those three things we talked. Be your own boss, manage your own time, and what else? Unlimited income potential, right? Your lifestyle. It's great. That's what it's about. Now, I'm going to leave you with a quote as we wind up the day at the bottom there. It says, the greatest motivating factor in human nature is what? You're right, visible results. The greatest motivating factor in human nature is visible results. Let me give you the example. When's the best time for you to sell a house?
Right after
Now.
you sold one.
Right after you've sold one. Why? That's right. Your momentum is moving you forward. You just you get your check, I just love this job. I'm going to make $1 jillion at it, but you know, it's been a pain in the ass escrow. And I need a week off. And a week becomes a month. See? So, bear that in mind. It's for everything that we do in life, you know. When you go down to the gym and you start working out, you know, and all of a sudden you kind of, maybe a few days later you're passing the mirror, you know, you kind of catch a glimpse of yourself and you look back and go, oh. That looks pretty good. Good job. Same thing. It's all about visible results. And you should be excited about those visible results. So anyway, that's a little bit of an overview on building out your strategic plan. I want to thank you for your time and attention today. I always accept it as a gift. So thank you for your gift of time and attention. Don's going to hand out a copy of my book to you. Again, I'll be sitting back there. I'll personalize it for you and sign it. And these are of value from this standpoint. These are what we call advanced reader copies. The book is not available for sale until June 1, which will be a first edition. And so advanced reader copies are not made open to the general public, so you get to have one of those. Put your hands together for Don. He did that.
I'll tell you something about his book. If you read it and you set it down, it won't do you any good. If you go step by step and do the things that are in it, it will transform your life.